And it's the midweek edition of the Bumba Show. The midweek edition of the Bumba Show. Sorry we had the sound so loud. But I'm Isaac Red. I'd like to welcome you. Wednesday, 14th day of September 2022. How many more months to general and presidential elections? Welcome to the show this afternoon. Every Wednesday is Jala Griffith. But again, Jala, as a human being, has some other schedules. And he's busy with his family. But he's well and sound, giving us the method of authority to do the show today. And so it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Bumba Show. My producer is Jab Davis. And on the social media, is the strong, ever-potent Anthony Williams, the Kipamas boy. Also, my sound presenter or sound producer is Melvin Stewart. I don't know how many songs he got stolen, but again, we'll do the usual thing we do here every day. Talk to people, talk to issues, and of course, give you some trending issues. Things trending in the news. Welcome, my name is Isaac Red. We will have the lines opened on the show this afternoon, but that's when the River G County Senator Kamini B. Wisa comes to the studios. We'll be talking about the elections bill. We will talk about the controversial, if I may, pension bill sent to the House of Representatives and rejected by the House of Representatives. What is it about the pension bill? That's coming up on the Bumba Show this afternoon. Coming to be Wisa of the Unity Party. He's going to be here. We might talk about the Unity Party and what it stands to gain in the 2023 elections in Liberia, with the fragmentation, with the challenge of naming a running mate to former Vice President Joseph Boyaka. And we'll talk about River G County itself, because coming to be Weezer runs to be senator again in our county. What are his chances? Welcome to the show. You can call us on the show when he gets in here, 0880-514-096. Welcome. All right, we don't have time on our side. We have to take time and tide. Everybody says time and tide wait for no man. So we're going to 6 o'clock this evening. When I'm here every day at on Thursday, I have 1 hour. So I got two hours today, and I'll have to make maximum news of the 2 hours. We'll talk to our Bapolo County correspondent, hopefully. But what's trending in rural Maserado County is that multi-purpose farmers cooperative break grounds for storage facility, construction for a storage facility. You know, when our people do all the gram peas, they do all the oranges, they do all the plums, they do all the crops, nowhere to store them. And so farmers in Liberia are saying, look, we always have the energy to produce what it takes for us to consume, but we have a problem with storage. And so that's the thing everybody's getting involved in now. We have to migrate from communal farming to mechanized farming. And if we went to mechanized farming and we try to improve our farming ability, we must improve on storage. Because you don't want the oranges, the perishable goods or plants, spoiling. You want to keep them somewhere. And so in rural Maserado County, we're hearing good news that some farmers, the cooperative there has organized themselves to ensure that they have something to store, whether it's going to be a cold storage or just temporary storage, or how they're going to do it. We'll talk to George Colley from rural Maserado. George is in Carysburg, Mount Barkley, Tody, that Monserrado part that stretches to uh, Margibi County. Well, let me before I go to George. Before I go to George, let me give you some thrilling news here. You know that the governor of Liberia yesterday announced that Semenco, they I don't know whether it's a monopoly, an HO monopoly or what, but Semenco is the manufacturer of cement, and cement is used for construction, building blocks for buildings. And Semenco has said, look, owing to the economic situation, the stability in the economy, and the need for basic cement material, all the three categories of cement will be reduced. The government issued a statement on yesterday about that. So that's welcoming. That's good news. And if you have a bad news about something wrong happening, tell us too, and let's tell the government to correct it. Not that we don't like bad news, but good news are more consumable than bad news. Bad news brings bad feelings, but good news brings good feelings, and so we like to emphasize and amplify the good news. Now, the president of Liberia too has commissioned the work permit digitalization project or center that is intended to allow government through the Ministry of Labor to migrate from manual processing of documents to boost revenue generation. Now, the project was launched on yesterday, 13 September, at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town. What the president we are saying when he was doing the commissioning, performing the commissioning ceremony, he says, that his administration takes very seriously the protection of workers' rights throughout Liberia and adequate employment for for the people who are qualified, competent, and available to work. Qualified, competent, and available to work. Now the president is the chief of state. He makes the statement that government will protect the workers. It is incumbent upon each and every Liberian to ensure that the rights, the president is not all over the place, right? That's how the Ministry of Labor is dedicated to monitor the work environment. And that's how they have labor inspectors or labor commissioners across the country. But you in the county, you could be your own labor inspector. Be a whistleblower. If you find out that there are companies, there are establishments in Liberia that are abusing, that are misusing the labor of Liberia and paying people cheaply what they're doing more work, or you know that there are work that Liberians can do and foreigners are doing it, you have to blow the whistle. You have to be the one who will raise the alarm, raise the red flag. If you don't do it and say the Minister of Labor will be all over or the President will be all over, you will be doing it to yourself. So journalists, social workers, workers themselves who have very appalling work environment or conditions are encouraged to write it out, talk about it, get to the media, go to the ministry and raise the red flag. Help the president do his work. The president is not all over the country. And so if you don't do it, don't go about blaming the president or the government for a poor work environment. We all must contribute to getting the president work into fruition, meaning that the president vowed that his administration takes very seriously the protection of workers' rights throughout Liberia. He noted that it is as a responsible government, it is his duty to ensure that investors are treated fairly in their relationship with the government and with their employees. So if you are an investor and you want to be treated fairly and respected, you must respect the dignity of labor. You must respect the Liberian workers. He was speaking yesterday while commissioning the user work permit, moving it from manual system to a digital system. Well, I don't know. This is good news, but another way, I don't know what news is this, but it's trending in the air. It's been discussed. The Latter-day Saint of Jesus Christ Church has been fined. They have to pay $750,000, $250,000, for property damage. They took somebody's property according to the civil law court. They took somebody's property, Mr. Joseph V. Gay's property in Congo Town. They are using it. They say they illegally acquired that property, and so they have to pay to Mr. Joseph Gay $750,000. I'm not talking about Guinean cities, or I'm not talking about Sierra Leoneans, I'm talking about 750,000. Now I'm not talking about Liberian dollars. I'm talking about US dollar, the one you called In God We Trust. Now, two representatives are tussling over retirement and pension bill. You know, uh, one say when we retire, we need money. Another one is saying, yeah, we need money, but that money is too much, it's too hard. But we'll talk more about the pension bill when Senator Kamine Wisa comes in here at 5 o'clock this afternoon. I bet he's on his way here. I know I got weather report that it's raining, but I also got the traffic report that the traffic is pliable. So Kamine Wisa, Senator Rajiv County will make his way to our ERBC studios. He's from the United Party. We're also asking about his own party's activity, the United Party. The House of Representatives was a single drama as a result of an intense argument between Maryland County Representative Isaac Rowland. He's the Gary representative from Gary, the Cavalry River area, and Representative Dixon Sibo from Nukru Town, Masurado County. Accordingly, the drama between the two CDC lawmakers all started when Representative Rowland blasted his colleagues for rejecting the retirement and pension scheme bill submitted by the Liberian Senate for concurrence. That was a financial bill. I thought it should have come from the House according to the Constitution. But whatever the case is, the Senate sent it to the House rejected it. Representative Isaac Rowland is not happy. When he raised this contentment about that, he went into an agitation, a statement that aggravated his colleagues. Representative Rowland, in a more aggressive tone, described his colleagues as unlegislative, stressed that said decision by that August body is also as a gross disrespect to their colleagues in the Liberian Senate, in which the bill emanated. He added that before a bill for concurrence can be rejected in line with legislative best practice, said bill should firstly be sent to the committee room for scrutiny. Of the committee members will then make report to full plenary, which is the highest decision-making body of the House of Representatives. So his colleague didn't like the fact that he had an outburst and they were on him. But then he said, best practice suggests that we send the bill to the committee room. The bill is first introduced. But again, some bills are just dead upon arrival. When you just read a caption and it is not in conformity with the constitutional requirement, they say one bill should not have two titles. Sometimes legislatively the bill is just read, and from the title you know that it doesn't meet the required legislative framework, and it's just rejected on the spot. Something you call dead on arrival. We'll talk about the pension bill. Why did the House reject the Senate pension bill? Kamine Wisa will come and explain. Is that bill very, very unlegislative or unpopular that had to be rejected at first sight? We'll talk about that when the Senator comes here at 5 o'clock. The House of Representatives saves election magistrates from sack. What does that mean? The House of Representatives has rejected a legislative instruction from the Senate that will render all 19 election magistrates across the country jobless. The bill, which the Senate passed in August with limited opposition, was slammed by critics as usurping the authoritative function or the administrative function of the National Elections Commission. It had aimed to remove all election magistrates from the post and have them rapidly change or reapply 90 days after the passage of the bill, which was an amendment to the new elections law that came into force. Section 2.24a of the amended law states, 90 days after the passage of this act, all election magistrates in the 15 counties must be removed and positions considered vacant. This action or this section also gives the right to those removed magistrates to reapply. Reviewed the bill, had decided to vote against the Senate legislative measure on grounds that the move is dangerous ahead of the country's 2023 presidential and legislative elections. The House that the job statuses of the election magistrates are administrative decisions that are directly controlled by the National Elections Commission rather than the legislature. Well, that is another issue we're going to be talking about here when Senator Wisa steps in here. Sir, sad news, we must break this one to you if you don't know. A veteran Liberian journalist, Philip Wise, he was an attorney at law and also an instructor at the University of Liberia Mass Communication Department, has died. The managing editor of the Inquirer newspaper, veteran Liberian journalist Philip Wise, died in Monrovia following a protracted period of illness. At the peak of his illness, he was flown to Ghana following the intervention of President George Weah for advanced treatment and later returned to Liberia. However, he was confined to his wheelchair as he recovered, but sources say his recent days, his condition deteriorated. Prior to his demise, he was recently inducted into the Press Union of Liberia Hall of Fame in recognition for his immense contribution to journalism in Liberia. Fellow Wise, the founder and chairman of the board of the Inquirer newspaper, or to call it the New Era newspaper, died today. He has contributed a lot to the media landscape in the country. He's dying just on the heels of PO elections that is up for November. He did not attend the ceremony due to his falling health. That was the induction ceremony into the PEL Hall of Fame. He didn't go because of his health condition. Sekou Damaro, that's Sekou Kalasko Damaro, presidential aide, pays full tuition of students in Margibi County. This is short, let me just go through it quickly. As Liberians decry the hike in tuition and other basic school-related activities during the academic calendar, a son of Margibi County and presidential aide to President George Weah, Sekou Kalasko Damaro, continues to live up to the adage that says, to whom much is given, much is expected, by paying the full tuitions of several private school students in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grades in Kakata, Margibi County. Mr. Damaro, a native of Kakata City, since his ascendancy to the position of presidential aide to the Liberian leader, has not reneged on or turned his back on giving hand to the people of Margibi County. Cementco dropped prices of cement. Good news. I was talking about this last night. I don't know why you don't watch television. You should be watching the television. LBS television is just getting so super excellent. It's getting so super. You should watch your Liberian television. Most of you, yeah, you can watch the football game for your own amusement, but it's good to watch your local content. Let's make all the criticism and change the narratives and get the Liberian content on the television. It's good to watch the LNTV now, the leading television in Liberia. But back to this story on Cementco. The management of Cementco, one of Liberia's largest manufacturers of cement,